Hey everyone, I'm Carrie Lowry, an Ed Specialist student at KSU in the Issues and Trends Spring class. The trend I chose to research a little more and present information on is Open Educational Resources, or OER, and how they can possibly help school districts move away from textbooks in the near future. What exactly are OER? According to Welts, they are technology-based educational resources that can be used by anyone for non-commercial purposes. This means that teachers have an open license and legal permission to revise and use as they see fit. As a free resource, many districts see OER as an alternative to very expensive textbooks. The thought behind OER, and Creative Commons to a degree, is that the world's knowledge is public and the internet provides an opportunity for everyone to access that knowledge. The glaringly obvious benefit of OER is the cost savings. When districts are using OER instead of commercially produced textbooks, they begin to see a huge savings on money spent on resources. For example, in 2014, districts spent an estimated $10.4 billion on print resources, while only $6.6 billion was spent on digital content within the same year. That's a potential savings of almost $4 billion. OER have other benefits too. Students who use OER have greater opportunities for guiding their own learning. Also, many people believe that OER could play a role in the world's educational crisis, as seen in the fourth goal of the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, a topic that we'll come back to.
Okay, now that we have seen what Open Educational Resources, or OERs, are, and why we need OERs, I want to show a video clip that is from pop culture, and it is a cartoon character running for school board and why she wants to run for school board and what her platform is. Pay attention to the very last thing that she says.
Okay, Mrs. Griffin.
Well, as a piano teacher, I know how difficult the education process can be. That's why, if I'm elected, I promise to fight for competent teachers, a better funded music department, and updated textbooks that don't refer to the civil rights movement as trouble ahead.
Along with textbooks being outdated, teachers are seeing other benefits to using OER. When using OER, students are performing just as well as they did with traditional materials. Studies have also found that teachers are already using or finding their own supplemental materials. In fact, 82% of elementary and 91% of secondary math teachers are developing their own material, while 89% of elementary and 85% of secondary language arts teachers are doing the same. That means the vast majority of teachers are already sharing content and best practices with their colleagues all over the world. Not to mention that teachers see the need for students to learn how to navigate a digital environment and therefore want to give them resources and content that is digital. Teachers are not the only ones who are showing interest in OER. Students are saying that the OER they are using are either as good as or better than their traditional textbooks in terms of quality and engagement. One study in particular showed that 93% of students who use OER were performing as good as or better than their textbook using counterparts, partly because they were able to access their content earlier. Also, when we look at the Sustainable Development Goals as created by the United Nations, OER has the potential to solve, in part, goal number 4, which is to ensure inclusive and quality education for all and promote lifelong learning. Because OER are free for anyone, there is promise that they could blur some educational boundaries as created by demographics, economics, and geography. In one study, students were asked to rate their perception of the quality of OER materials they were using and their engagement with those same materials. In Table 1, you can see that close to 80% of students gave a favorable rating of the quality of materials. Table 2 shows where students rated their engagement with OER materials using the same scale. In this question, approximately 74% of respondents gave a positive rating. Let's be realistic. There are going to be downsides, so we'll get them out in the open. The one thing teachers are always short on is time. If they are asked to find their own material, where will the time come from needed to accomplish this task? Also, who will determine if the OER are of good quality? Teachers are struggling with how to integrate OER, and they have very little buy-in on whether this idea will work or if it's just another fad. In regards to the time needed to find new material if using OER, teachers are essentially being asked to become their own curriculum designers as well. Another task to add to a teacher's already overloaded plate. The people who are creating these new resources should be compensated in some way, so who will pay for that creation process? And finally, teachers will need sustained, job-embedded professional development on how to implement OER in their classroom. After all of that, are you still interested in checking out what's already available? A few of the sites where OER can be found are listed on this page. Of particular interest are the sites sponsored by different states. New York's Engage New York project, Utah's Open Textbook project, and Illinois' website for OER. There are others than the ones listed here. This is just a sampling of what one could find if he or she were interested in looking for their own OER. Thank you so very much for your attention, and I hope this presentation helped you learn something new.